Hey everyone, this is my e.l.f. 100 eyeshadow palette tutorial. Somewhat like I had on the other day, I switched it up just a little bit because I wanted to use all drugstore products. And if you want to see how I did this, stay tuned. Okay, so I'm going to use all drugstore products for this look. I know that when I did it originally, I did have on MAC Black Track Gel Eyeliner, and I also used a MAC Paint Pot in Mosscape as a base, but I wanted to do this all drugstore products, everything, so that if you wanted to use what I use, you would be able to. It would be more affordable and sort of going along in the line of thinking with the e.l.f. palette. So let me tell you what I have on for products right now. I'm wearing the Rimmel Fix Perfect foundation base, foundation primer, and then I used the Rimmel Lasting Finish foundation, and my color is Ivory. And then I used Coty Airspun Loose Powder on top of that. And then as a blush, I'm using the Wet n Wild Ultimate Minerals bronzer and Amber Glow as a blush. I just think that it gives it a nice balance and keeps it within the same color range, because this is going to be all green and brown and beige. And I also used Revlon Beyond Natural Concealer under my eyes, and this is Milani Teddy Bare nail polish, which is kind of in the same color range as OPI's You Don't Know Jacques, but it's a little bit lighter. And I just painted my nails a little while ago, and I didn't use a top coat because I've been really into painting my nails lately. What I've been doing is I've been changing the polish every single day to match my outfit. And I looked down at my nails, and they were, one nail on each hand was chipped. And I haven't really done hardly anything. So I'm not really that impressed with the quality of this polish. It goes on really nice, and you do get a nice opaque coverage. So my recommendation would be, if you're going to use this polish, I guess you have to use a top coat, which is unfortunate, but that's pretty standard, I guess, with most polishes. But anyway, getting totally off track here. Okay, so I told you what I'm wearing for products so far because I'm just going to do the eyes in this tutorial. And in keeping with the drugstore, all drugstore products, what I'm going to start with is the NYX eyeshadow base, and it's just white, and I'm just going to dab my finger in there, and I'm going to put that all over the lid. I'm going to start it off on the lid, and then I'm going to blend it out. I'm not going to put any additional product on. I'm just going to blend this out all over the entire eye area. And just keep working it in, because this is pretty thick stuff. So just keep working it in until it's blended out the whole area. And if it goes a little bit beyond, don't worry about it. You can always straighten that out later on. When you put your finger in here, as soon as you touch your finger to it, you can almost feel it like melting. You don't need much of this at all. So a dab will do ya. But start off on the eyelid, blend it all the way down to the lash line, and then up all the way to the eyebrow. Make sure that you blend it really well, or you're going to have problems with your eyeshadow. It's going to clump, or you want to get a nice even distribution. So take your time doing this part. Just keep blending it up. Okay, that's good. Now, if you want your eyeshadow to last all day and not move, melt, or otherwise change, it doesn't hurt to use an eyeshadow base and then a colored base on top of that to bring out the color in the eyeshadow that you're going to use. And this applies no matter what you're using for eyeshadow. I like to try to always use a colored base on top of the regular base because then you're covered all the way around. Hopefully I explained that right. Okay, so for a green base, I'm going to use a NYX Jumbo Pencil in Lemon. They have since renamed this pencil Lime because it is green, so it never made any sense to call it Lemon in the first place. But once again, try to use a very small amount because if you use too much eyeshadow primer, then you're going to get creasing. So what I like to do is put this on, melt this onto my finger. If you apply this directly, you're going to end up with too much product. So just take a small amount and just work it into your finger. Same thing, you know, you can almost feel like a little bit of melting action going on there. And then I'm going to apply this to my eyelid and blend it really well. Now this isn't going to be extremely dark because we already have the white base underneath it. So just put a little bit on there. It's just going to give your eyeshadow something to cling to and just give it a little bit more pigmentation, which is especially good when you're working with inexpensive eyeshadows. Sometimes they need a little more something. Okay, now I know that my eyelids don't really look that green, but that's okay. So, we're all set with the bases now. And then in the palette, what we're going to use for colors is I'm going to use, if you go 3 across and down 2, this is what I'm going to put on my lid. And then if you go down 3 more, that's the color that I'm going to use in the outer V or in the outer corner area. This one is like an army green. This is more of a lime green. Yeah, I guess you'd have to call that a lime. And then this one right here in the first row, and that's 6 down, that's what I'm using as my highlight. This one is very, very pigmented, so try to get as little as you can on your brush when you apply that, because it's a really bam in your face pigment. Now the other two, the green ones, are more of they're not quite as pigmented, but you'll see as we do that. Okay, so I'm going to start with the highlight, and I'm just going to use this Essence of Beauty brush, which I know this doesn't really look like a brush you would use for highlight, but because that pigment is because that eyeshadow is so pigmented, I wanted to use something really, really fluffy and dense because it's going to work twofold for application and blending. Okay, so I'm just going to dip my brush in that highlight color that I showed you, first row, 6 down. And then I'm going to just sweep it underneath my brow, right along that brow bone. And I'm going to drag it all the way down into the crease area, starting from like the arch over. And then once most of the product has been taken off your brush, whatever is left, I'm going to start down in that crease area in the corner and just drag it across. Okay? Let's do the other eye. I think I better set this palette down. We don't want any accidents. Okay, so start from the arch in the brow. Drag it across and down. And then there's practically nothing left. But I'm going to start in that inner area right over the crease and just go across. Okay. Now we're going to switch brushes. Now I'm going to use MAC 224. You don't have to use this. If anything that you have that is similar to this kind of domed fluffy brush, this is just what I like to use. And then I'm going to take the third row across, second one down, green, get some on my brush. And this is a pretty frosty, shimmery color. And I'm going to just apply this just across the lid. I'm going to dust it on very lightly to get a nice even application. Do the other eye. Okay. Now, what I usually do is, I like to take the same brush and then just wipe it like just have a paper towel on the table in front of me. Just wipe it on the paper towel with no brush cleaner, nothing like that. Just to get any excess color off. See, it's not clean, but it's close to clean. And then I just use that same brush and put it in the that army green color that's 5 colors down, 3 rows across, and then I'm just going to put it or place it in this outer corner area, and just very lightly, drag it on that corner there, right in that crease area. Then I'm going to work it more into the crease. But you definitely want to concentrate most of the color on that outside edge. Okay? And then I usually just wipe any excess away with my hand, and because I've got other products on my face, it wipes away pretty easily. Okay, let's do the other side. And again, just on that outside edge, just keep focusing right in that one spot right there. Then you can bring it across into the crease area. Okay, so that army green color doesn't really show up too well. To me, it's not really a very pigmented color. So I think I'm just going to dip my brush back in, and then just hit that outer section again with a little more, just in that one spot. I went up a little too high on that side. Okay, so now I'm going to take one of these angled brushes. This one is just Essence of Beauty from CVS, not expensive. And then I'm going to dip it in that lime green color Oh, that didn't sound good. Alright, let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm gonna like scrape the edge of it. Wow, that's really soft, huh? And then I'm gonna run this from like my eye under my lower lash line across to the outer edge. Okay, it looks funny right now, but I'm not done. And then the other one. So pretty much start from the center and drag it across. And I just go over it a little bit. Okay, then take a brush like this that has like a small tip on it. And this again is an Essence of Beauty brush. These are really good brushes. They're not expensive at all. And then take your army green color and put a little bit of it on there, and you're going to go right over that lime green with this. And not only is that going to apply the army green color on top, but it's going to blend the lime out a little bit. See? So that you have the two colors that you used here dragged a little bit underneath your eye. Okay, now when you're working with these kind of brushes, sometimes, you know, you go a little bit beyond what you want. So what you can do is just take a Q-tip and then run it like underneath so that it doesn't come down quite as far as it does. Just go underneath it so that it's more concentrated up near the lash line. Okay, so that just cleaned away any excess. Now, I used MAC Black Track Fluid Line last time I did this look, but I wanted to use all Drugstore today. So I'm going to try out the new Maybelline Eye Studio Gel Liner in brown. And this is the first time I've used this, so we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to use my MAC 210 brush. This is really the only brush that I have any luck with in applying gel liner. Can't wait to try this. This is going to be interesting. Okay, it's not really all that pigmented, but then again, I don't know what shade of brown it was supposed to be. Maybe a medium brown. It does apply really well though. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot, and this was not expensive at all. So this is a little bit more subtle than what I usually use, because that Black Track fluid line that I normally use is really, really intense. But sometimes you don't want intense, you know. I like this. I like it a lot. This is really easy to apply, and it doesn't seem to be migrating into the lash area the way that the MAC one does sometimes. I don't know how good the lighting's going to be for this video today because it's raining outside. So I'm using artificial lighting, 2 different forms of it. Yeah, I like this. I'm kind of surprised. Oh, and I am going to do that gel eyeliner comparison video. Somebody wrote in the comment section, I think it was yesterday, that they asked me if I would include the Wet n Wild liner, the Wet n Wild cream liner in the comparison. So I ran out last night and I did get the Wet n Wild one in Eggplant. And so I'm going to compare MAC, Bobbi Brown, Maybelline, and Wet n Wild when I do the comparison. Okay, yeah, I like this. I like this Maybelline one. I'm really surprised how easily it goes on. Okay, and then I'm going to use Maybelline The Falsies mascara. You know, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that the crease, I probably should have blended that a little bit. But I can still do that. Because it looks a little too pigmented in the crease area. The eyeshadows. But we can do that. This is a 217, MAC 217 blending brush, so it's not too late. You can just blend that a little bit. Oh yeah, that's better. Much better. Okay, and now I'm going to use a Milani Lip Flash pencil in #1 Lip Flash, and I have a lot of videos on these. If you just subscribe to me, you may want to go back and check out the video where I do the product review on these. They're really sparkly, and they're not drying at all. And they don't seem to migrate past your lip line, and it's full coverage, so you can even wear them by yourself if you want to. I always put a lipstick on top of them, but this is the brown one. Not really that crazy about brown lipstick or lip products on me, but it kind of, I thought it would go good with the bronzer and the green. By the way, this look would look really good on somebody with brown eyes. I think it looks okay on my blue eyes, but this would look a lot better on someone with brown eyes. Why hazel eyes? And my mom ended up giving me back that Revlon Mink lipstick that I gave her, that I won in that Twitter giveaway. Because she said she had another one exactly like it, and you know, it takes a while to get through a tube of lipstick, so she said, well, since you don't really have one like that, you might as well take it back. So this is Revlon Mink. And if you look at my bottom lip line now, you'll see that this almost like tones down the Milani Lip Flash pencil to a more wearable color where it's not so dark brown. And then you don't do a gloss when you use the Milani Lip Flash pencils. It's fine to put a lipstick over it, but don't do a gloss on top of that because you're going to end up with a big, thick mess. Because these Milani Lip Flash pencils are so moisturizing that it would create, you know, too many layers and too much thickness, and yeah, so I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, so this is the finished look, and all drugstore products. I'll list everything that I used in the description box, and I hope you don't mind that I switched it out a little bit as far as not using some of the MAC products that I used last time, but I wanted to make it all drugstore so that you could just go to the drugstore and, you know, if you wanted to recreate it, it wouldn't cost you a fortune. So this is my elf green look, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.